Fighting without fighting it sounds like a paradox, right? But this ancient wisdom text called the Book of Steps presents a revolutionary approach to handling conflict that could transform how we deal with everything from social media battles to international relations.
That's fascinating, and it's particularly relevant given how quick people are to seek revenge or retaliation these days. What exactly does this text suggest about handling conflict?
Well, it uses this powerful example of Adam and Satan's story to illustrate how the desire to be like God, to take matters into our own hands, often leads to our downfall, you know? It's like when we think we're justified in getting revenge, we're actually falling into the same trap that caused the original fall.
So it's suggesting there's a different way to handle being wronged?
Exactly, and here's what's really interesting. The text makes this distinction between open and secret straying. It's warning us that even if we haven't openly done anything wrong, we might be secretly justifying actions that go against this principle of non-retaliation.
That's such a psychological insight. It's like it's describing how we rationalize our behavior in modern times.
And what's really profound is how it connects this to suffering and sacrifice. Instead of seeing pain as something to avoid or avenge, it suggests transforming it into something meaningful like incense before God's throne. Think about how different that is from our modern impulse to either avoid pain or immediately strike back.
The way it talks about Mary watching her son die, that's such a powerful image of maintaining dignity in the face of injustice without seeking revenge.
Right? And here's what makes this so applicable today. Whether we're dealing with online trolls or workplace conflicts, the text suggests that true strength lies not in retaliation, but in transformation. It's like turning poison into medicine.
Well, that's really challenging our modern narratives about strength and weakness, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you know what's fascinating? The text explicitly warns against trying to imitate the righteous ones of old who took vengeance. It's saying we don't have that authority, which is pretty relevant when you see people trying to justify their actions by citing historical or religious precedents.
So it's offering a middle path between being aggressive and being passive?
Exactly, and it's not suggesting we become emotional doormats either. The text actually says crying is a good sign. It shows our capacity for empathy is growing. But then it balances this with very practical advice about pushing through difficulties regardless of how we feel.
That's such a nuanced approach to handling conflict, acknowledging emotions while not being ruled by them.
And here's what I find most applicable to our current situation. The text addresses this very human tendency to want to fix everything, to take on everyone else's pain. But it explicitly says that even God doesn't transfer the pain of others to us. We have to accept our limitations while still remaining engaged and compassionate.
That's particularly relevant in our interconnected world where we're constantly exposed to others' suffering through media.
You know what's really striking? The text emphasizes this is a long-term process. It specifically mentions not quitting for a long way. It's suggesting that transforming how we handle conflict and suffering is really a lifelong journey rather than a quick fix.
And in our world of instant gratification and quick solutions, that's quite a countercultural message.
Perhaps that's the most hopeful message we can take from this ancient text, that even in our context of instant reactions and escalating conflicts, there's still this possibility of transforming how we respond to injury and injustice. It's not about denying our pain or suppressing our emotions, but about channeling them into something that breaks cycles of violence rather than perpetuating them.
That's really something to think about in terms of how we handle our daily conflicts and interactions.
And as we wrap up, I think it's worth noting that this isn't just ancient philosophy, it's practical wisdom for navigating our modern world of cancel culture, online shaming, and cycles of retribution. The path of transformation might be longer and harder than retaliation, but it's ultimately the only way to break these destructive patterns.